Money didn't start as gold, it started as promises, and every promise needs a promisor. In modern finance, you are the promisor and the government issues units, but the value comes from your labor, your time, your compliance. And in other words, it doesn't create money out of nothing, it borrows your energy. Today, we're going to be talking about how the true source of currency is energy. We're going to be talking about how it's not about the government creating money, it's about the government using your energy, okay? Most people don't understand that when it comes to debt, when it comes to what this government runs on, we think that it's debt, but the reality is it's actually your energy. Just think about it. Your energy, you put in energy to pay your debts. And if you think that the United States runs on debt, it's not that, all right? So if you're brand new to the video, thank you for watching this video. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're brand new. You dig what I'm saying? Number two, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. Make sure to do your due diligence, okay? We're going to be talking about what money actually is, who creates money, and we're going to talk about how the system borrows your energy, and in other words, the real currency. So make sure you stick all the way to the end. Thank you guys for tapping in once again, and let's get into this video. This video is sponsored by the Fund Yourself Academy. My step-by-step system designed to help you fix your credit, get funding, and build real financial freedom from scratch. If you're tired of feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck, this is where it changes. Inside the Academy, I break down everything from consumer law secrets that they don't teach in school to how to remove negative items and boost your score, get access to business funding, and start building multiple income streams online. Whether you're just starting out or ready to level up your game and get the bag, this is your playbook. We've got tools, templates, dispute letters, mentorship calls, private community access, and an exact roadmap I use to leave my 9-to-5 and create time freedom. But only for a limited time, you can get access to the Fund Yourself Academy on a free trial basis for the next 7 days. And then after that, you pay less than $1 a day at $27 a month, if you like it. No fluff, just facts and just freedom. Go to thefundyourselfacademy.com or hit the link in the description to join now, because nobody's coming to save you, but you can fund yourself. Now, one of my primary things is to really bring legal merit behind everything that I'm talking about. So for a person who thinks that what I'm going to talk about is fluff, everything is in modern money mechanics. I'm going to try to break it down as simple as possible and pretty much talk about how you can apply this information to your private banking needs, debt discharge, consumer law, credit, funding, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna bring it back to that, all right? But because we've been experiencing a little bit of growth here, I did a video on this, but I did it so long ago, and that video didn't get as much traction as I hoped it would. So I'm gonna redo the video so that you guys can be able to get a newfound perspective of this concept here, all right? So the first question is, what is money? Okay, you may look at this dollar bill and you say, okay, well, you know, it's the currency, right? That we use to pay our bills and to get things, buy assets, liabilities, whatever the case may be. But this modern dollar is actually an IOU, okay? These are financial liabilities of the states and the banking system, okay? And it essentially becomes valuable when you accept, hold, or work for them. The thing that's actually bringing value to this is the fact that we are working for it every single day, using them, exchanging them, holding them, transferring them. That's where it becomes valuable the more we do that, okay? So when you look at 12 USC 411, it says Federal Reserve notes to be issued at the discretion of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for the purpose of making advances to the Federal Reserve banks through Federal Reserve agents are hereinafter set forth for no other purpose are authorized. That said notes shall be obligations of the United States and shall be receivable by all national and member banks. Okay? It also says that they shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States. Okay? So obligations equals promises, not metal. And I bring that up because they will say that this is the only way that you can pay for something. Okay? If you go to 31 USC 5103, it breaks down what legal tender is. It says United States coin or currency, including Federal Reserve notes and circulating notes of the Federal Reserve Bank and national banks, are legal tender for all debts, public charges, taxes, and dues. Foreign gold and silver coins are not legal tender for debts. Now, this is the real lawful money, gold and silver, metals. Okay? But when you get a dollar or a Federal Reserve note, it's just an IOU, or in other words, it's just a promise. All right? So, U.S. coins and currency are legal tender for debts because the issuer says so, right? Not because that's just how life is. It's because the people that are creating the money say that that's the legal tender. But it also doesn't say what it's not. I mean, it says what it's not. It says that gold and silver coins are not legal tender. But here's the other argument that they'll have. They'll say that this is the only tender, but that is not true. It doesn't say that it's the only. These are some key things that you have to look for when you are actually reading it, okay? Now, why they spend like money. The state demands dollars back through taxations, fees, and fines, and that compels everyone to seek dollars to stay compliant, which gives dollars purchasing power. So because the state and because corporations are asking for the dollar, this essentially puts people in a position to want to stay compliant, or they feel like they have no choice but to use a dollar. Okay? But the question I want you to ask yourself, if this was a debt dollar, if this was an IOU, if this was debt, how could you use this to pay back a debt? The question that we should always ask ourselves. Okay? I think the biggest thing that I want you guys to get from this video is to question everything. No matter how true it may sound, be willing to question everything, even me. All right? Now, the dollar is really a claim on your future time. The moment you owe taxes, your energy is pledged to chase those dollars. And now the next question, because we're talking about taxes so much, is, okay, well, how do I get out of paying taxes? Well, I can easily argue that that the IRS is considered a debt collector. And I can easily argue that taxes are voluntary and it's not mandatory, okay? Taxes is only for taxpayers, anybody who qualifies as a taxpayer, okay? It's also a contract that you were born into that makes you believe that you have to pay taxes, but taxes are really for businesses. Okay. Now I can't sit here and argue that you don't have to pay taxes as a business. There are strategic ways and strategic tax code to be able to get out of paying taxes. And I think that you should maneuver that way when it comes to business taxes. But when it comes to your personal taxes, you can treat the IRS like a debt collector, but be smart, be strategic. I wouldn't just like as a beginner do it. Okay. Now let's talk about who actually creates money. Who creates money? There are two engines in creation. Number one, commercial banks create most of the deposit money when they issue loans. Okay, your signed note becomes the bank's asset and your new deposit is their liability. So someone say, well, damn, how's their deposit a liability to them? Okay, if I go to the definition of deposit, all right, the definition of deposit is ding, ding, ding. Deposit means the unpaid balance of money. So this is why the commercial banks who create the deposit money or issuing loans are actually creating their own liability. But we look at a deposit as like money given to us, but is literally in its own terms saying that it is the unpaid balance of money. So understand that it's the unpaid balance of money. At no way, shape, or form are they loaning you money. Okay, they are typing in their liability, what they owe you. But you look at the deposit as something valuable. Okay, and we're going to talk about value and consideration and how important it is for a contract. Meaning, if you say you're going to loan something and my promise gives you the ability to loan, all right, and you don't actually loan me anything, you just let me know that there is something there is to be loaned to me, but you're only going to type the number, there is no value and consideration that you exchanged with me, because your consideration is the fact that you've loaned me money. But if I find out that you haven't loaned me money, then there is no value and consideration. Understand me? The other engine that creates money is the Treasury plus the Federal Reserve. Okay, they create government money. The Treasury spends marking up bank accounts, and the Fed manages and reserves interest rates. Treasury issues Treasury securities, bonds, bills, notes, all under 31 USC 3102. Okay, pull that up. 31 USC 3102 brings up the definition of bonds. Okay, so I'll just pull this up so you guys can be able to review it on your own. Okay, so the next question you'll ask is, why sell bonds if the state can issue currency? Well, bond sales manage interest rates and drain and add bank reserves. And politically, they frame spending as borrowing. So they will make you think that their government spending is them actually borrowing. So practically, the public, via pension, bank funds, and through savings, lends purchasing power to the state. Your saved labor now backs the public's IOUs. So let's just unpack this for a second, okay? They may say they're doing government spending, but they're actually borrowing. Well, what are they borrowing? Okay? These bonds that are being created essentially gives the state power, and it's because you go to work every single day. That is exactly why these bonds have value, because in some way, shape, or form, we're going to pay those bonds back. It's interesting. Okay. So when you buy a T-bill, the government is literally borrowing the surplus of your past labor, your stored energy. That's very interesting. So here's the 5 ways that the system borrows your energy. Number 1, taxes and mandatory payments. What happens is withholding turns hours into dollars before you touch them. Okay. If you miss payments, you get penalties, fines, and they compound that claim onto your future time. Because think about it, you got to spend time. The common person has to spend time in order to make money. Okay. So when they add fines and penalties and more things that you have to quote unquote exchange that dollar for, now you are equivalent. The equivalent of the money is really the time you're going to spend to make the money. Like, really think about it. Like, if it took you no time to make money, then paying your bills or doing this, it wouldn't really control you. But when you are spending your time, to make money, and your time, your energy, and your resources to make money, that almost has like a full level of control over you. Another way that they borrow your energy is through consumer and student debt. Your signature mints new bank money, and your future labor services it. So when you go and you apply for a loan, let's just say for your student loans, you're going to go to school to learn how to work a job, and then you're then going to be that job that you work for, you're going to be working there your entire life to pay back that student loan that you essentially minted, that you created with your signature. You created the obligation, but they won't tell you that that's the true value to that contract. They won't tell you that. They will tell you that you are being loaned something, and then you are going to pay, and they are on the premise of, yes, they may make it seem it's about like your credit score, your credit worthiness, or whatever the case may be, but they know you're going to pay it back. It's not that they know. Number one, they are going to use it up front, but what the value that they truly want from it is not that you're going to pay it back. It's just the fact that they know you're going to work for something. You're going to give your labor somewhere. Okay. They also take that stream of income and or that signature, and they securitize it. They bundle it and sell it to investors. And that right there, you would think that you may look at that as, okay, yes, they are securitizing a asset, whatever the case may be, but they're not really telling you that. So technically, they are buying your future hours. They're buying your future time. This is where you have to really think, like, okay, what is it about time that they want? Because I even break it down in a more business perspective, okay? J. Paul Getty, I think that's his name. Let me make sure I get his name right. What did J. Paul Getty say? J. Paul Getty, he said, there we go. Yeah, this is a guy who literally is the start of the oil industry. He's an oil tycoon. He said, listen, I'd rather have 1% of the effort of 100 men than 100% of my own effort. Why? Because he will be able to have someone, if he uses 100 men's effort, he can keep 100% of his time. You get what I'm saying? See, the true value is not really the money. The true value is the time. Okay? What you're going to do for the money, that is the true value. And that's what the government is utilizing, borrowing. Okay? We can also talk about how they use inflation to really take away your energy. Okay? New money enters unevenly, prices adjust later, and your wages lag and your stored time buys less. As inflation goes up, prices go up, and in essence, you feel like you have to work more. Okay? As inflation goes up, sometimes your value doesn't increase depending on where you work. Okay? Because inflation can happen in the next year. So now your time is worth less. And when you go spend your time to pay for your debts or make money, like this is where I hope you guys are seeing that connection that I'm making. They do so many things like inflation, get you in more debt, taxes and penalties and fines, and then make you want to go put in more time and labor to pay them back. But if this really doesn't have much of a value, the money, because the money is an IOU, the money is created in thin air when we sign something, what is the true value? What is it that they actually want? Is your energy, your time. They want you focused on something other than yourself. They want you in the box. Not only that, another way is they make you have licenses, fees, fines. They do public borrowing. Long story short, the creation is more like the key, okay? And you are going to forever buy with your time. You're not really buying with money. People think it's about this, but it's really about your time and labor. All right? Once you understand how to get this with less of your energy, this is when you start to experience true freedom. Okay? At least financial freedom. All right? But it also is your mindset shift towards debt, towards money and the economy. People say, okay, well, the economy, the system is rigged. Yes, it is. It is inherently rigged. I'm sorry. But it's only rigged to the person who doesn't understand what it is that we're going through. Now, I'm telling you this right now, not so that you can throw your hands up and say, well, dang, none of this stuff is literally going to always be pushing me towards my labor. No, I'm telling you this so that you will start to think like them. Okay? Some people will say, well, I'll think like them and I'll also do something immoral. No, it's so that you can understand how you can play the game and use their negligence against them. Okay? So someone will say, well, I want to be my own bank. Well, you are your own bank because your signature creates the value. You just have to be strategic with your signature and make sure that you are signing in contracts that you inherently want to sign contracts with. Okay? So how a loan really works, taking out the mystique. Okay? You sign a promissory note and that note becomes a bank asset. That loan agreement becomes a bank asset. The bank then credits your account with a new deposit, which is an unpaid balance, and that's the bank's liability to you. But then we dive into you spend years converting your future labor to extinguish this note. And this is why we talk about debt discharge, consumer law, private banking, and all of that, because this whole loan system is literally put in place to enslave you. Okay? It's the modern day slavery. Okay? Think of how much power they have and how you are literally going to work every single day to pay your debt. Are you going to work for your own purpose? Are you going to work for yourself? Oh, I'm going to work for my family and this, that, and the third. But your family is really living on debt, living on your labor, not the money that you make. So this is why it's even more important, not only for you to learn these processes so that debt doesn't have that level of control over you, but you learn these processes so that you can look at the game much more differently. Okay, bet, how can I get on the side of where I'm the creditor, where I'm understanding the money that I'm creating and I'm actually utilizing it properly? See, don't get loans to don't get loans to like continue to just put more labor. I want you to think about every single loan that you get into. If you get into a loan right now You are not, it's about your future labor. How much work are you willing to put in once you put in that loan? So you have to be strategic about your loans. Okay, if I get a $10,000 loan, $100,000 loan, what am I going to put that towards so that I'm not spending all of my future labor on it? This is why one may say, okay, they used to say, oh, your house is going to be one of your biggest assets or whatever the case may be. But your house can be a liability. Your house can literally tie up your future labor and have you stuck doing something for the rest of your life so that you can make sure that your house is paid off. And then after a couple of years, you may be bored of the house. You may not even want to live in that house anymore, but now you're stuck. And this is what happens to most Americans today. Same thing with your student loans. You may not ever use that degree ever again, but now you are spending the rest of your future labor on that degree that you don't even use. Okay? So let's just talk a little bit about creating negotiable instruments to pay your debt. Okay? A negotiable instrument means an unconditional promise or order to pay a fixed amount of money, which is also your dollar. Okay, but you can also write on a piece of paper your promise to pay a fixed amount on something with your signature, and that now becomes a negotiable instrument. Now, I want to save you guys from putting yourself in a position to criminalize yourself, so we'll talk about that in a second. Also, under UCC 3-303 talks about value and consideration. You will be bringing the value to an agreement, and they must bring value back. Okay. And then we can talk about UCC 3-603 that gives you the ability to enforce a tender of payment. So if you now have a tender of payment, you are entitled to enforce it because when you send this over, they must accept it or reject it. If they reject it, it is refused. If they refuse it, then it is discharged. If they accept it, it is discharged. So win-win. Okay? But it's only a win-win if you know this law. If you don't know this law, then yes, you're going to look at, oh, they ignored me. What do I do now? Well, it says it right here. The tender is refused, there is discharge. Well, what is it? What is them ignoring me? What is them refusing? Oh, ignore. You can assume tacit agreement. You can assume they're acquiesce. You can say, hey, if you ignore this, then I'll take that as you refusing it. Okay? Let's talk about some of the myths and the lawful strategy. Using your SSN or the Fed routing number to pay your bills. That's a myth, okay? Under 18 USC 514, it says that you can't use fictitious obligations, or you cannot create a fictitious instrument and try to use it to defraud something. Defraud someone, especially someone in the government, okay? Another myth is 12 USC 411. 12 USC 411, it does say that they shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand by the Treasury of the United States, but it doesn't give you access to the Federal Reserve. Okay? It may say it in any way here, and I think a lot of people look at this and they say, well, I should be able to get lawful money. Well, no, you won't really have access. That's a myth. I don't care what it says here, but that is a myth. Okay? They don't even have the money. So whatever lawful money you're looking for, you'll be looking for gold or silver, and they don't have it. Okay? And if they have it, there's no way you're going to get to it. Okay? That there's a spendable secret treasury account. It's not that you will be spending money, okay, from a treasury account, okay? The Treasury Direct is for buying securities, not bill pay. And yes, there are some methods out there where, yes, you can get recouped and it can go to your TDA account, but that's a completely different process. It's not like you're going to just be using your TDA account to pay your bills anyway. Okay, it's more like to route those bonds to that account. Okay, but it's not necessarily going to pay your bills. All right. Now let's talk about the lawful strategies that do exist. And when we're talking about unlimited money, when we're talking about debt discharge, when we're talking about private banking, this is what you actually can do in order to get your time back, your labor, your future, your attention. And I'll talk about these strategies, but I'm going to also keep it real with you. Before I talk about this, it's not legal advice. It's not financial advice. Make sure to do your due diligence. Number two, it's okay to pay your bills. If you find a way to make this without using so much time, energy, and attention, it is okay. You can still do this. There's nothing wrong with this. Maybe much easier for you. You may be a person that doesn't like to write down stuff. You know, you may be a person that don't like to sit down and type a letter or whatever the case may be. If that's not you, you need to learn how to put this together. You need to learn how to get this, okay? And someone say, well, the system shouldn't require this. This doesn't mean anything. Well, it has value because more people are exchanging this than more people are doing the processes that we talk about, okay? So until the majority of people don't see value in this, this will consistently have value in the United States. Don't be afraid of it. And don't think that getting out of debt or going off the grid means you're never going to have to use this again. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with making money and paying your debt down, especially when you find a way to exchange your energy or less energy to make it. Or more importantly, you're using this to make money. All right. Number two, the other lawful and legal way is demand validation. You can challenge the debt collector, any debt collector, IRS, mortgage company, credit card company, utility bill, whatever the case may be. You can challenge any debt collector for the validation of debt. Now, that doesn't take away that there is a level of risk, that there is a potential that they will do something adversely to you because you are doing that. And notice you can still sue them for that, but you still have to have proper strategy. You can also do things like dispute inaccuracies. Okay, well, yes, you may have a debt on your credit report, but you can dispute it from the credit bureaus, get it off your credit report. Now you look credit worthy, and now you can walk into any bank and get funding. So you can use the FCRA 15 USC 1681. You can also scrutinize contracts. You can require full accounting, chain of title, and the original instruments for my debt collectors. They are required to give you the full accounting in order for it to be a valid contract. Okay. You can tender and negotiate. You can use UCC 3-603 for lawful tender, settlement, forbearance, or pay for, delete, refinance, and hardship plans. All of this can be used as a strategic way to negotiate your contract. Yes, it could be about debt, or you can negotiate your contract and get a lower payment or no payments or payment back. It all depends on your negotiation skills. It all depends on your level of understanding. No, it's not going to be a one surefire word that you negotiate and then you're going to immediately get what you want. I'm sorry if you thought I was going to give you that one key phrase that's going to wipe away your debt and you're officially private and off the grid. I'm not going to give you that. You got to learn how to negotiate. You become a better negotiator when you understand these concepts. This is why I repeat certain things over and over and over again so that it becomes more of a especially for my people that's watching my videos on a consistent basis, so that it becomes more of it's etched in your brain. Just like that music you listen to, that is etched in your brain. You can recite that song word for word. Trust me, I can too. All right, you become the lender. You can allocate savings to T-bills and money market funds, holding bills, and flip sides on the table and get paid interest. So there's no hack, there's just leverage. Whether it's legal leverage, whether you learn to leverage your energy. The law gives consumers teeth. You just have to bite. That's funny. Yeah, since the law gives consumers teeth, you just have to bite. They give you a plate of food. You have to determine whether you want to eat it or not. Here's the practical steps to reclaim your energy. Audit and reduce your energy leaks. List every monthly obligation. Rank by APR and leverage. Kill high interest revolving debts first. Refinance when possible. And of course, you got to be strategic with refinancing because it's literally starting over. But sometimes that can buy you time. That can maybe get you a lower payment, maybe more time so that you can discharge it or negotiate. You can automate your minimums. Okay. Number two, evidence and enforcement. Keep a dispute binder, your contracts, your statements, your notices, your USPS receipts, your call logs. If a collector can't validate, push for deletion and cease collection. Escalate to the CFPB or the Attorney General. Litigate under the FDCPA, FCRA, Truth in Lending Act, RESPA. Hold up. So make sure you have the evidence so that you can enforce it later. Reprice your time. Convert expenses to hours of life. Say no faster, meaning if you believe it's going to take away your future time and make you do more future labor, be strategic about that. Redirect your saved hours into assets that pay you. So if you are going to save some of your hours, put those hours into something that'll pay you back and buy you more time in the future. Okay. You can also do things like vote on rule makers, vote on things in regards to fees, licensing, medical and educational debt, public borrowing, transparency. You can use errors and omissions and challenges on your statements, requests for accounting. You can do set off and recoupment defenses. There's a lot of things that you can do, okay? But the key things that I want to help you guys understand and really shift your mindset is, number one, money is not metal. It's organized claims on human time. Number two, banks and governments administer the lever and you supply the value through labor, attention, and compliance. Your signature, that is what is backed by your labor, attention, and compliance. Number three, the goal isn't to escape the system, it's to learn how to negotiate better, document better, and lend your energy on your terms. Terms that you choose, not something that is predetermined or somebody told you should do this. You are doing it because you inherently want it to, okay? So you are holding yourself accountable too. It's not that the system is just so bad, I gotta escape it. You are learning how to play this game and the system better by knowing the truth behind it. Okay? So I could keep talking all day about this. I mean, we are already 35 minutes into this video. I want you guys to tap into these laws here: 12 USC 411, 31 USC 5103, 31 USC 3102, 15 USC 1692G, 15 USC 1681, and the entire Fair Credit Reporting Act, UCC 104, UCC 3-104, UCC 3-303, 3-603. And check out 18 USC 514 so you can understand what it would look like for you to defraud and what consequences that you can get if you do any of these processes incorrectly and try to find some surefire way, one-click lotion and potion, what could potentially happen to you. Tap into these laws, learn how to do them on your own. Because the true power in taking your time back, labor, and attention is by understanding the system that you're in, okay? If you want to learn more about this, tap in down below. The school community is down below. Get tapped in. It's less than $1 a day. You can also get in for a free trial for the next 7 days, and you become an affiliate, okay? Number two, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you want to fix your credit, you want to use the FCRA to remove those negative items off your credit report, tap into my one-on-one link and apply to work with me. Tap on my Instagram, tap in with me on Twitch. The links will be in the description. Remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tap in, turn on the post notifications. And if you've gotten this far, comment the word discharge, and I'll see you in the future.